right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This one, viewer discretion is advised for language and politics. It's gonna be a bit spicy to say the least, all right? Let's get into it.
And Democrats are weird and pretentious, right? Like a good example, we were talking about this on Flagrant. Remember that stupid haircut I had?
Sure.
You remember where I shaved the sides?
Oh, yeah.
Which one? You've had a few.
Yeah, but the stupidest one. The one where I basically, it was like a bowl cut.
Yeah. But it's for a roll.
Right. If somebody came up to me like, why do you have the haircut? And I was like, what, do you not understand fashion? Do you not understand luxury? What are you, a Nazi? Like, how dare you judge this haircut? People would be like, shut the up, bro. You got a weird haircut. Stop acting like, and that's Democrats. But if somebody came up to me and they're like, what's up with that haircut? And I go, I know it's kind of odd. It's just a weird thing. I was trolling people and like people really annoyed about it. So I just doubled down. Then immediately those people go, oh, I get it. That's kind of fine. If you disagree with Democrat rhetoric, some of it, not all of it, some of the rhetoric, the extreme rhetoric, the reaction is, what are you, a Nazi? What are you, hateful? What are you, a bigot?
Well, we've been doing that to each other. But see, that's
I'm not saying Republicans don't do it. I'm just saying that this is the reaction. What you have to do is when you have some things that aren't really common sense,
Call it out. Don't try to normalize it. Don't say it's okay. Don't try to pretend as if we're not seeing what we're seeing. Just say, yeah, but this is where we're going. At least try to own up to the fact that it's not what has been happening for the longest. Simple example, pronouns. I feel like that was the first step in a crazy direction, to say the least, okay? Why are we giving people our pronouns? My whole life, we grew up, we looked at a piece of paper. If it had hair, we said she. If it had, long hair with bows, we said she. If it didn't, we said he. If it was wearing a skirt, we said she. If it was wearing pants, we said he. Obviously, that doesn't, fit every single circumstance, but that's all it took to teach us he and she. The fact that you go up to someone and that was the first step in the wrong direction when things kind of just went off the cliff. And I know a lot of people are going to say it doesn't matter, right? Keep listening.
Latinx, when you have some things that are just
They sacrificed it all at the altar of identity.
But why aren't you listening to
Exactly.
Latinos?
But
Latinos were the main people saying don't use Latinx.
because they don't care.
You even keep saying Latinx. I never even heard that term.
I know. It's just the whole thing. Like, for example, remember when there was like these stories of like the drag queens teaching teaching kids how to read?
Yes.
And if a dad or mom goes, yo, why are there drag queens teaching kids
Don't
how
call
to
me
read?
homophobic,
Thank
transphobic
you.
because
Yo,
of that shit.
explain that shit. It's weird.
So again, it's not that it's just weird. It's weird, and you are going to demonize the people for calling it weird, and not just demonize them, but to go out of your way to ignore the fact that it's weird and then turn around and insult them. Where does that go? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Okay? And then here's the thing. They want to use the guise of, we're intelligent. We're the smart ones. We're the educated ones. You don't understand the meaning of gender. You changed it. Oh, well, the thing is, we didn't change it. That's always been the definition. It's just that society hasn't accepted the true definition. So we're going to have the true definition. Come on now.
It's not like we ain't all go to kindergarten.
And maybe this makes me pretentious. Maybe it makes me elitist. I just don't think it really. Look, I just talk.
Tell Chris, I want you to finish what you're about to say. You don't think it what?
Impacts people's lives in a real way.
But it impacted the election.
Okay.
Even if it don't impact your life, it impacted the election.
This is the biggest cop-out. This is the biggest cop-out. No, I'm telling you it is, because when you say it doesn't impact people's lives, may I finish?
It doesn't.
May I finish?
Yeah.
If you just double down. What you're telling me, this is the messaging I get, right?
Right.
I'm telling you, this is a deal to me. And what you're telling me is that I'm weird. This is the pretentiousness that is so baked into Democrat.
Why does it bother you? What's such a big deal? It's just a bathroom. It's just someone living their own life, right? Not when those living their own life situations turns into law and policies. That's when that changes.
Democratic politics that drives people crazy. I'm telling you, hey, I don't understand this, and it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And you're going, no one really cares about this. This is not a big deal. Right. What does you care about this?
It's like shut up and dribble.
Shut your mouth and dribble.
What you mean?
And
I'm asking questions.
And the second you do that to the majority of the country, which is what you're doing, they start going, man, fuck these guys. Trump fix this whole shit. These motherfuckers went too far. I can't even ask a question. When I do, they act like I'm stupid.
I don't think Schulz is wrong, Chris. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong either.
First of all, I'm having a conversation. I'm not using that fucking voice when I have it.
He's not talking about you, Chris.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that what you're saying
Chris is fragile
I
right
know.
now. Chris is fragile. Chris is going to be okay.
Yeah. See, it's annoying. It's annoying when people act pretentious, huh?
Chris, you can't do this for 4 years. You're not gonna make it, bro.
I'm telling you, get on
Stress
board.
yourself out, man.
Get on board.
No,
Get
we're
on
not getting on
board.
board.
Wait, what?
Listen, it's
What?
just we're all Americans. We want what's best for America. Now,
Yeah.
I like
And I think Charlemagne made a great point right there. And I feel like that's a big thing that we lose track of in today's modern day and age, where it's like we believe that we're up against each other all day about every single issue, when the truth is, if we can change our minds just a little bit and realize, or at least believe, because let's be real, a lot of people don't think this way, believe that the other person isn't trying to harm you, the other person isn't trying to end you. They're trying to solve the same problem. They're just coming from it from a different end. Or they don't see the same problem you see, and they're coming from it from a different end. That's just another way to look at it, you know? Hey, what are you doing? Did you subscribe yet? How about that like button? It's pretty lonely. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me, all right? Let's get back to the video.
these conversations because guess what? There is a midterm in 2 years. Then there's another presidential election in 4 years. Maybe if he does the right thing.
Can I throw a real quick? Let me throw a real quick idea. Real quick idea. Wait, Chris. Real quick. If we get rid of term limits, bring Barack in for the third term.
No.
Now we talking.
I want the Constitution to keep doing what it's been doing.
No,
I want people to respect the Constitution.
Respect the Constitution. There's
That's
no
what I
third
want.
term. I 100% agree. 100%. Miles, look at me. Get me on. Okay. There you go.
But Chris,
There you go.
you said something earlier, and I just was saying it may not impact people. I agree with you. I don't think that issue impacts people's life like that,
All I'm
right?
saying,
But it impacts an election. And
And,
that's what
and I'm speaking to the people who let that impact them. I'm saying focus on something else.
no,
Whoa,
you should say that
do
to
you-
politicians.
That's what I said in some of my last videos. When you have people saying, this is a problem, I can't handle this, and I can't forward this, I can't go here, I can't do this, I can't say this, and people said, everything's great, the economy is doing great. If you don't like it, it's because you're a bigot, it's because you're a racist. What? No. When people or half your population is saying this is a problem, at least half, okay? You should probably listen just a little bit. That doesn't mean give them everything they want, but you should listen just a little bit to figure out, if this many people are saying it, maybe there's something to it, you know? Maybe we shouldn't just let a tiny, minute percentage of our population run away with our policies and change our entire trajectory, all right? But no, the response by the Democratic Party, let's be honest, was everything's fine. Let's not change anything. We don't know what you're talking about. Here's some free money. Come on now.
How pretentious is that? How unbearably pretentious is that?
Listen.
Somebody's knocking on your ceiling, right? You live on the third floor. The fourth floor person is tap dancing on your ceiling, and then you go, "Hey, man, that's a little bit bothersome." And they go, "It's not a big deal to most people. Just get over it." Most people don't really care.
But you know what's so crazy, Show? I think we're forgetting what wins elections, Chris. It's always these one or two things. Like, remember when they said they tried to say George Bush had a DUI from the 70s one year? It's always like one or two things.
There was a man beating up women in the Olympics and won a gold medal. And when people were like,
it wasn't a man.
No, they just came out as a man. It was proved.
No.
They just came out as a man. It was approved. 100%. Internal testes, no menstrual cycle, XY chromosomes. The testing just came out.
It was XY chromosome.
No, they didn't. They weren't sure, and they called everybody transphobic for even assuming that it was. And then they also questioned like the Russian authorities for releasing some tests and that they're trying to game the Olympics. And then
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that shit.
All right,
because
fine.
what we have learned is talk.
I wonder why. Those are topics that are off limit. And we're going to keep it moving too, okay?
Talking about those micro issues has caused macro problems.
Exactly.
What you mean exactly what talking about?
What he just said. Talking about those micro issues has caused macro problems. You could take that multiple ways, okay?
Democrats.
He don't see it. He don't see it. They gonna keep losing. They gonna keep losing until they realize this
By the way,
shit.
Chris, we've had this conversation off air a million times.
This is the conversation I have at every Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everyone in my family is working class, votes for Trump, MAGA, all that shit.
Oh, hell
that's what
yeah.
he's worried about. He's great.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm saying this is
Did you feel the power when he said it? That shit, that felt liberating when you just said that shit, didn't
I
it?
say to all those people that I say to my own
Andrew is nothing but a troll right now, okay? He's taking a victory lap.
relatives. There's a line from Shakespeare: "Thou doth protest too much."
Woo!
You guys are awfully worked up.
Woo!
Shit.
So you see what he just did?
Nah, I disagree.
No, hold on.
Nah,
Charlamagne. You see what he just did? He said,
He calls us all Fraggle Mags.
"Call us a Fraggle Bag." Yo, this is the pretentiousness of the Democratic Party. If you disagree with me, you're gay.
Nah, I disagree.
He
with that.
said, if you disagree with me, you're gay.
I've been, and I've told you this, Chris. I'm pretty sure I told you, Schulz.
Or you're racist, or you're sexist, or you're a phobic. That is the problem. People today can't just disagree with policies and ideas without being called some type of a threat to someone else's way of life. If you disagree with anyone on anything, it can't be because we just don't think the idea is good. It's because you don't want me to exist. It's because you don't like my way of life and you don't want my life to continue. That's where it always goes to. And when we live in a world where instead of having in-depth conversations, all your goal is to shut somebody up, people shut up and then vote. Take note.
7 swing states.
When we go,
Mopped up.
That's true.
Mopped up, my boy. Keep that condescension going.
When we go to, my daughter's a competitive cheerleader. I'll never forget this conversation as long as I live. My daughter's a competitive cheerleader, so we always end up in these obscure places all around the country, mostly in Jersey. We end up in Atlantic City a lot. I like Atlantic City. I like going to Oceans. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a cool spot. You go out there, have some fun, right? Like it's a cool place to have some adult fun with the kids go with. So we're at dinner. The kids are at one table, all the adults are at another table. It is the most diverse table. We look like the fucking United Nations. It's like me and my wife, a black couple, it's an Indian couple, it's a Muslim couple, it's white couples, it's Jewish couples. Like we're just all sitting there eating, drinking, whatever. And somebody gets on the topic of furries. And
Weird.
And how furries.
99% of furries are Democrats, guaranteed.
But then furries turn
There's
into...
not one single Republican furry. Go
But then furries turned into a whole conversation about just gender identity and everything else. Chris, every single person at the table does not understand it. They think it's strange.
That's cool.
But they better say that quietly at the table.
It's not nobody being transphobic.
That's cool.
They just don't understand. They want to know why is this just being pushed on kids? Like they want to know. Like they're trying to. They don't want the teachers talking to their kids about it. Like
Hey,
this
so
is
if a
just
furry,
parents talking.
imagine we were saying that about furries, and then furries was like, you know what it sounds like while they're sitting in, they got a lion costume on, right? And they're looking at you and be like, thou doth protest too much.
All right, guys. I'm going to do a part 2 for this one. I don't want it to get too long. All right, guys. Please hang around for part 2. I'll hit you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.